So they actually take a left or a right at this first sign. And they take a left at the first opportunity. It's the first road street. First turn after you get onto the highway is a right and then a left. Second left, third left, because there's a couple of streets. So the first stop sign basically is where you take your next left. It's on Simmon, it looks like, or Sintman. At the next stop sign, they just take another right back onto the highway. That's easy. All right, that's all I need to see. and everything. Pretty. It's a pretty little town. It's not like Baton Rouge and all that stuff, where it's actually a little bit hilly. It's got some ups and downs, which is very much my preference. I don't like straight, flat ground that much. I was raised in the state of Oregon, so it is kind of a foreign kind of a place to me. For me, my place to live in would be a place with deep forests and mountains, and if possible, like I was about an hour from the coast my entire time growing up, and I really missed being able to just drive to the coast when I felt like it. There and the coast here is so different. The coast there is what I consider scenic, where there's lots of different features, texture, stuff like that. And the coastline in a place like Louisiana is just all flat, and the only way you know it's the coast is there's some sand and some water, and that's it. The land ends. In Oregon, it's totally different. There's lots of the Oregon coast is really different from the California coast even, where there's lots of topographical features. The roads are, on the sides of steep cliffs, that have been dug into steep cliffs and stuff, as opposed, there's tons and tons to see, and you can even see far out to sea because you're raised up off the water, hundreds of feet. I just miss that. And everybody misses where they're from, no matter what. You miss, and I guess it's more of a time thing of your life, not necessarily the features of where you're from, but, everybody misses being a kid, if they had a good childhood. I don't think everybody has a good childhood, though, unfortunately. I was really lucky. I had really good parents, and we were in a really good, a lucky situation where my environment was safe. There was no, war, and there was no, all the things that were happening that were bad were very, very far away from where we live. And part of that is my father and mother, they chose to raise us out in the country. They could have chose to raise us in a city, somewhere, but we were out in the country, living on a farm. My father was an electrician, so we didn't do any farming, but he on purpose had, we had farm animals and things like that because he wanted us to learn those things like he did when he was a kid. His situation was a little more of a have to rather than want to when he was a kid, but he still thought that was an important fundamental thing that we should learn. And I am grateful for that because it gave me a protected, safe, slow environment to grow up in, which, you know, allowed me to pursue other things like thinking, you know, that kind of stuff. I was toying with the idea of pulling off and waiting for them to go by. I don't want to make them nervous. I don't want to make James nervous. That's the key. But they might have even turned around right here. This is where I got gas this morning. I think that's where I'll go just to get out of the way. Business next to us was connected to this parking lot, but I don't think so. So I'm gonna drive down there and park. That way they don't have to see me on the way by. That is if they go by this way.